Hey everybody, my name is Nico. And if you don't already know me, I help freelancers and agencies use Upwork to sign more clients. And in today's video, I'm gonna cover the 4 most important concepts that help me go from zero to making over $15,000 per month with Upwork. And no matter who you are, what country you live in, or what service you offer on Upwork, these 4 concepts are gonna be able to help you sign consistent, high-paying clients on Upwork. The 4 concepts we're gonna cover are my proposal template system, both how I write amazing proposals and how I systemize the process to save me a bunch of time. We're also going to cover profile optimization and all the things that you need to know to get clients from simply viewing your profile to sending you a message. Volume and how many proposals that you need to be submitting to start seeing real results on Upwork. And make sure to stick around to the end of the video because number 4 is going to show you how to triple your income by making one simple change to the service that you offer. The first concept, and quite possibly the most important one, is going to be my proposal template system. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to break down our proposal templates into 2 parts. The first part is going to be the first 300 characters of our proposal. And the second part is going to be everything after the first 300 characters of our proposal. Now, in my Upwork coaching program, we go a lot more in depth on this topic, but that entire program took me over 250 hours to create, and there's no way I'm going to let this video be 250 hours. So for this video's sake, and for simplicity's sake, we've got 2 parts to our proposal. The first 300 characters, and then everything after that. We start with social proof. Now, having social proof helps so much because it's gonna grab the attention of the client who posted the job on Upwork. And so what are some examples of social proof? Well, social proof could be anything from reviews, testimonials, case studies, client interviews, big companies that you've worked with. For example, I have a student and a member of one of my Upwork coaching programs who signed a deal with Pizza Hut on Upwork. Now, mentioning that he's signed a deal with Pizza Hut is going to increase the amount of trust that clients have with him. And so we're going to want to mention that in the first 300 characters of his proposal. And so we did, right? But other than that, other examples of social proof could include, like I said, case studies, testimonials, reviews, video testimonials, big companies you work with, amount of, your years of experience, or other things that are just going to build trust with the clients. Now, the second element to optimizing the first 300 characters of your proposal template is going to be personalization. Now, personalization is an absolute must. There are no exceptions. You absolutely need to personalize your proposal templates. If you're using just some copy and paste proposal template, you are not going to get good results, and it's just a massive waste of time, energy, and money. And obviously, nobody wants that. Now, the way I like to do this is I like to write 1 to 3 sentences that are obviously personalized at the very beginning of my proposal. And in terms of what I'm actually including in these sentences, I'm basically just taking the information that the job poster wrote in the job description, and I'm telling them that I'm confident I can fulfill their job for them. So for example, if the job description says that they are a painting company and they're looking for someone to manage their social media presence on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, I would literally just say, I'm confident I can manage your social media presence for your painting company on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, right? Obviously, it would sound a little bit more polished than that, but that's the general idea. And so personalization is an absolute must. There's really no way to make up for it. You need to have at least 1 sentence of personalization in every proposal you submit. Now, in terms of optimizing the second part of your proposal template, which as a reminder is everything after the first 300 characters, I recommend mentioning who you are, where you're from, talk about why you're qualified for this job, and overall, just make sure you demonstrate that you are unique and that you are competent, right? Those are the 2 biggest parts of the second half of your proposal template, right? Unique being like who you are, where you're from, your background, right? What makes you unique as a human being is still fine to include some of this stuff in your proposal template. And then being competent is obviously giving examples of your experience, like we talked about earlier in terms of social proof. Incorporate some of that in the second half of your proposal template as well. So you can talk about years of experience, other companies you've worked for, experiences you've had, stuff like that are going to demonstrate your competence in the second half of your proposal. And finally, make sure you have a strong call to action. Now, the call to action that's worked best for me after submitting thousands and thousands and thousands of proposals is just simply asking the client if they have time for a quick 15-minute Zoom call. I know it might sound super simple, but it's worked incredibly well for me, and I've booked hundreds and hundreds of meetings directly from Upwork. So that, in short, is how you're gonna be able to craft an awesome proposal template that's gonna convert to clients. Now, in terms of my proposal template system and how I've managed to save myself hundreds of hours of time, is I like to write one proposal template for each service I offer. So I'll give an example. If I run an accounting firm, I would probably have one proposal template for my accounting service, one for my bookkeeping service, one for my tax services, maybe one for my virtual CFO services, right? And so I'm gonna have one proposal template for each service that I offer. And that's gonna allow me to templatize 90% of my proposals while keeping everything extremely relevant. Because we're only gonna use the bookkeeping proposal template to apply to bookkeeping jobs. And so we can just talk about bookkeeping pretty much the entire time, and it's still gonna be extremely relevant to all of the bookkeeping jobs we apply for. But at the same time, we're not gonna have to personalize that or change 90% of our proposal template each time we submit it. And so that is the first concept. That's how I've managed to write awesome proposal templates that converted dozens and dozens and dozens of clients for me. And I've also managed to create a proposal template system that saved me hundreds of hours of time. And so if you do those two things, if you optimize your proposal template and you create one proposal template for each service that you offer, I can guarantee you that's gonna help you sign more clients on Upwork. The second concept is profile optimization. And this one took me a little while to learn. But once I did learn it and once I implemented it, my profile was able to act as an asset working for me day and night. See, here's the thing about profile optimization. You only have to do it once. And if you do it correctly the first time, then your profile is gonna work, like I said, as an asset working for you day and night. So that every single time a client is viewing your profile, they have a higher percentage chance of sending you a message, which basically means you're gonna get more messages and close more deals. And as I'm sure you probably are already aware of, profile optimization is not simple. There are so many different levels of your profile that you need to optimize, right? You have your titles, you have your written introductions, you have your specialized profiles and their titles and their written introductions. You have your skills section, your portfolio section. You've got your other experiences section, your employment history section. And overall, there is just so much to optimize on your profile. And I'm not gonna go super in depth on this because this isn't an Upwork profile optimization video, and I already have one of those on my channel. But I will give you the most important principles of each section, starting with your title. Now, the purpose of your title is, yes, to tell people what you do and the services you offer, but it's also to stuff it full of commonly searched up phrases on Upwork so that we can rank higher versus other freelancers and agencies that offer the similar services as us. And this is important because when a client posts a job on Upwork, they get prompted to invite freelancers to apply to that job. And if you can show up really, really high in those search rankings, you're gonna get a lot more inbound leads and a lot more messages, which is gonna make it significantly easier to sign more deals on Upwork. And I should know, I got over 65 inbound leads in a 90-day period on Upwork, which, as you can imagine, made it significantly easier to sign a lot more clients in that 3-month period. So how do you stuff your title full of commonly searched up phrases on Upwork? Well, to start, I like to think of this from my client's perspective. Now, if I offered web design services on Upwork, I would think, what are clients going to be searching for in the Upwork search bar when they're looking for web design services? Well, they're probably going to search up web design, right? That's a pretty simple one. And they might even be searching up the platform that they know that they need, right? So for example, if they have their website hosted on WordPress, they might look up WordPress web developer, right? And so those would be some keywords that I would definitely want to have inside of my title. Now, the other way to do this is just to go on Upwork and start searching for jobs and find the ones that you would actually want to fulfill, right? And then simply write down all of the keywords and skill tags that are in those jobs. Once you have that giant list, you're gonna be able to find a handful of them that are easily the most common ones, and then simply put those into your title. Now onto your written introduction. For the written introduction, I like to use short paragraphs and lists. The goal of our profile is to build up trust with the clients who are viewing it. And we can only do that if the clients actually read our entire written introduction. And if we just have a massive block of text, then they might not read it. They might click on our profile, get intimidated, get overwhelmed, and click off of it. And that is the last thing that we want, right? So we like to use short paragraphs and then lists. Now, in terms of what to actually include in your written introductions, well, I recommend written introductions are at least 1,500 characters long. You should have a lot of social proof in there. So like we already covered, reviews, testimonials, years of experience you have, right? Big clients you work for, anything like that, even impressive statistics that you've achieved or results you've achieved. So they need to be 1,500 characters long, have examples of social proof inside of them. You need to talk about your services. Ideally, you'll also mention some examples of yourself, like talk a little bit about your personal life, who you are, where you're from, a little bit of background on yourself, and you need to have a strong call to action. Now, that's pretty much it for the written introductions. And in terms of your specialized profiles, written introductions, you can use the exact same framework, except each specialized profile should really focus on one specific service. Now, your general written introduction for your general profile can talk about all the services you offer. But like I said, your specialized profiles should each only focus on one specific service. Now, in terms of your portfolio, now if you offer a visually stimulating service, this is pretty straightforward, right? Just put a bunch of examples into the portfolio section of your Upwork profile and make sure that you have at least 3 of the spots filled out. Now, the reason for this is we just want to make sure our profile looks fully completed, right? And so if we only have one section of our portfolio filled out, even if it has 20 plus images in it, it looks like our profile is a lot less completed compared to somebody who has all 3 sections of their portfolio filled out, right? So that's if you do offer a visually stimulating service. Now, if you don't offer a visually stimulating service, you should check out this video on my YouTube channel because I'll show you the exact strategies that I teach my clients on how to create awesome portfolios that help them sign more clients on Upwork. And that, in short, is going to be profile optimization. Now, if you just simply implement the strategies that we quickly covered over the last few minutes here, you're going to be ahead of 99% of other freelancers and agencies on Upwork. Now, the third concept is going to be knowing your numbers and doing the volume. Now, when I actually truly started to understand this, I went from making $3,000 to $5,000 a month to making $15,000 per month from Upwork. If you really want to scale, volume is the answer. Now, I was recently on a coaching call with a member of my community, and she said, Nico, how on earth do you generate over $100,000 a year from Upwork? And this is what I told her. I said, it's about knowing your KPIs, defining the inputs and outputs, and doing as much volume as you possibly can. For example, if I know that for every 100 proposals that I submit, I get 20 messages and book 7 meetings, I know that I'm going to close 2 or 3 deals. Right? I closed at about 35% on Upwork, so most times it would be 3. And so this tells me that every 100 proposals I submit, I'll sign 2 or 3 clients. Then it's about knowing how much your average client pays you. So if I know that my average client pays me $2,000 in total, then I know that every 100 proposals I submit, it's going to lead to 2 or 3 deals, which will be $4,000 at least. Then once you've defined those numbers for your business, it's about doing as much volume as you possibly can. And eventually, if you want to scale to the moon, you're going to need to hire a team member who can submit these proposals for you so that you can free up more of your time to focus on fulfillment. Which leads me to concept number 4. And this is the big one. This is the one that could literally triple your income. And it's so simple. It's just providing a high quality service. Now, there are a plethora of reasons that you should be providing a high quality service. But the first one is simple math. If you offer services where you bill your clients on a monthly basis and it's recurring, then providing a high quality service is going to lead to them staying longer and paying you more and more money. For example, if I offer social media management services for $750 per month, and I provide a service that is okay, but it's not great, then my average client might stay with me for 2 months, meaning they pay me $1,500 in total. But if you compare that to providing an excellent service, those clients might stay with me for 8 months, which means in total, that same client paid me $6,000. Now, this makes it way easier to scale on Upwork because if you know that your average client stays with you for 8 months, you're going to need to sign significantly less clients compared to if your average client only stays with you for 1 or 2 months, right? And the other reason that providing a high quality service helps you scale is because oftentimes clients are going to have more than one project for you. So for example, I've signed a deal on Upwork where the client has paid me well over $15,000. Now, we didn't start that way. We started with just running their Facebook ads. And after we did a great job with that, we started managing their Facebook page. And after we did an awesome job with that, we designed their first product catalog. And then after that, we designed their second product catalog, and so on and so forth, right? And so if you do provide a high quality service, clients are going to give you more and more and more work. And obviously, that's going to make it way easier to scale. So that's all I've got for today's video. Those are the 4 most important concepts that have helped me go from 0 to making $15,000 per month from Upwork. And so if you like this video and you want my one-on-one help to to help you sign more clients from Upwork, then you should check out my Upwork coaching program. It has over 53 sections that show everything you need to know in order to start consistently signing high-paying clients on Upwork. And our current members are crushing it. So much so that we now offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if at any point you're not satisfied and you don't think it was worth $30, then you can just let me know and I'll give you a full refund. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to learn a little bit more, you can click the link below and you can see the results that our members are getting.